given a we also given a course subscription link also, how to subscribe to the course and all those things we have given. Okay, right. So what exactly we discussed here? We discussed something like that. Okay, generally whenever the first y angular, the introduction part of is y angular, when we have a lot of web application frameworks are available in the IT industry, why only we need to choose Angular as a framework for developing web applications? That's the point here. So just like I'm giving a small first idea of why JavaScript is evolved. Okay, so I have given an example of Amazon when they started their business with book selling, and they introduced a JavaScript framework after seeing the problem here. So what exactly the problem here is, if at all, if X number of people are accessing the Amazon application simultaneously, not all X persons are going to get the page, whether it can be X 100 or 1,000, whatever it may be. Okay, so after analyzing the problem, so the architecture itself, the web application architecture itself is causing the problem. Web server by app server. So what exactly the architecture we discussed here? When we browse any of the application, okay, so www.amazon.com, if you browse the application, by default the request will go to the app server or web server. Okay, so which is a Tomcat or a WebLogic or a WebSphere or a JBoss or a Wildfly or a IAS or a Apache. This is the web server or app server which is going to contact the Amazon core layer. Okay, where whatever the developer is going to write the code in a front end layer, business logic layer, as well as database layer. Okay, so by default, whenever you look for any request, the request will reach to app server or a web server, and again that is going to talk to our core layer, and our core layer is giving the response, and the response will be rendered to the DOM. So by default we observe the problem of what? Okay, assuming that when we browse www.amazon.com/products, okay, so it should go to product.jsp or product.aspx or product.php, right? Whatever the page, and product controller and product service, and it goes to product DAO and product table, assuming that we got 10,000 products. So whatever the code we going right here, for I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to product.size, I plus plus, we are building a dynamic table tag. Okay, so this is a dynamic table tag that should be formed, and rendering this particular dynamic table tag into DOM, and DOM will be rendered to the browser, and browser will parse this. So rendering the response, application response into DOM tree, parsing the DOM tree, validating the DOM tree, that is going to take a lot of time, and these entire things are taken at server side. Completely server is used to take care, right? As an alternative, the solution to the above problem is, by default, some of the responsibilities like page creation, validating the page, submitting the page, rendering the page, all these are shifted to client side. Client side means what? Browser. So JavaScript is used for achieving this point here. Okay, so this is the problem is solved when JavaScript, whatever the application, right? So JavaScript is introduced, and the JS file will be rendered to browser, and browser will execute the JS file at a client side, and which is solving some of the problem here. So this is what I mentioned in yesterday's class here so far. Okay, now today's topic is, okay, so now today's topic is what, guys? So today's topic is why jQuery. Okay, what is the purpose of jQuery here? today's topic is here jQuery. jQuery, I mean JavaScript versus jQuery. Okay. So by default, we are discussing a topic called as a JavaScript versus a jQuery. Why jQuery is introduced when we have a JavaScript, and what are the limitations of jQuery. Then we are going to discuss about Angular JS. Then we'll discuss about the limitations of Angular JS. Then we'll go for the Ajax. Then we'll go for real single page application. That is what our today's agenda. Okay. Today's agenda is nothing but here. The today's agenda is typically why jQuery, why this is evolved. Okay. Why Angular JS, that is jQuery versus Angular JS. This I'll show you programmatic approach. This I'll show you programmatic approach. Then why Ajax? Why Ajax is so popular? Then why Angular or a single page application? So this is what our agenda for today's session. Understand, guys? This is what our agenda for today's session. Now I had given the complete community link and a subscription link to everyone in the chat window. Please join this WhatsApp chat, and so that you will get the recorded sessions of the previous classes, and I've explained everything by default. Okay, right. Now, sir, as per yesterday's situation, right guys? As per yesterday's situation, when we have this kind of data is available, like we are getting 1,000 or 10,000 products from the backend, and in a front end dynamic data is getting populated. We are populating dynamic data. Yes or no, guys? So in this particular journey, JavaScript by default, okay, it has some limitations. Okay, what exactly the limitations here? The first point I want to focus is jQuery versus JavaScript. This is the first point I want to write. Okay, jQuery versus JavaScript. This is the first point I want to highlight. Now, when we have a large data set, when we have large data set, assuming that is maybe 50 MB of data coming from backend or coming from our server service layer, and this data should be binded. This data should be binded to HTML, because we thought of using JavaScript, right guys, to construct a dynamic. If we use JavaScript for designing the page, then it is performance is very low. So JavaScript is okay, sir. For a minimal set of data, JavaScript is very famous, or it's a popular, or it's speed. Okay, for a minimal set of data, JavaScript is very popular. Understand? But when we have a huge data, like 1,000 records, 2,000 records, 5,000 records, 10,000 records, 20,000 records, 1 lakh of records, if I render that data using JavaScript, if I render that data by using JavaScript framework, okay, then front end side, we will get a table, but the table will not be populated. It will take 5 minutes or 6 minutes or 8 minutes. Page will be downloaded, but the partial page only will come, and end user will get confused whether is it a full page or a half page. There is a confusion. If I use a JavaScript framework, whenever we want to address the large set of data, that is the main problem of a JavaScript. Also, whenever we want to do some animations, what is an animation, sir? For example, if I go to news website, there is a flash news will goes, right? We will animate flash news. Or when you want to highlight something, something left to right it will go, right to left it will go, some kind of animations. Okay, so animations are not supported by JavaScript. Some of the limitations are there in the JavaScript. That's why advanced JavaScript in the form of jQuery, jQuery is introduced, which is an advanced version of JavaScript only, guys. Which is the advanced version of JavaScript only. It's not a new framework, guys. Just like they redesigned JavaScript, and just like they improved the performance of the JavaScript. That's why jQuery is a typically a new frame. It's not a new framework. It's not a typical new framework here. By default, it is an advanced version of a JavaScript that is using jQuery only. Once jQuery came into the picture, okay, even we have a large data. If we have a large data is also there, the page rendering time will be very, very less. Okay, the people who worked on large sets of data, the people who worked on large sets of data, guys, especially large sets of data, with the people who are working on large set of data, they will know the performance with JavaScript versus jQuery. They know the performance related to JavaScript and jQuery. For example, sir, it's a student's marks online examination. If online examination we are conducting, okay, where we are rendering dynamic questions, if at all MSET or some kind of sets, okay, if you see that kind of scenario, when I have a data, I need to bind into a data grid, okay, and I have a radio buttons or checkboxes in the data grid. I have a radio buttons or checkboxes in the data grid. Then to load the data grid via JavaScript, it will take very, very high, more time. But with respect to jQuery, it will be immediately downloading the data. That is how the jQuery they created advanced version of the jQuery here. Okay. Now, after jQuery is introduced, right? All the problems, Amazon problem is resolved, where all the people are able to see the application and everything is resolved, guys. Okay, now we don't have any problem with the Amazon business or Amazon application. We don't have any problem, guys. Okay, but slowly, unlike Amazon, all the other stakeholders or all the other companies, they started using IT. All the companies, hey, Amazon is they introduced a web application, they introduced HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, and all the people are getting a web page, and the business is increased, and they are seeing a all the people, all the companies started using the application. All the companies started the using the application. Okay, so immediately after few years guys, HSBC is also started. They started the first banking domain. HSBC, they started the first banking domain in the year of 1995 to 2000 time frame. They started their their banking domain on the IT, their banking domain on the IT, because they have seen the success story of Amazon and they want to use that methodology. They want to use the same blueprint whatever Amazon is following. They thought of using what, IT, like HTML, JavaScript, jQuery, and the programming languages. All those things, they build a beautiful application, and they completely take that application and they use that application. Okay, but again the problem is repeating. In case of Amazon, maybe I told X number of people, X number of persons, right? Maybe 100. Okay, maybe 100 people are accessing. But when it comes to 95 to 2000 time frame, the internet and the IT evolved very greatly, right, guys? Now the 100 became 1000 or 10,000. The number of users accessing the application is increased more, guys. The number of users accessing the application is increased more, guys. Okay, now when they started using that application, when they are started using that application here, so problems observed using jQuery. The problem is observed using the jQuery. So the problem using jQuery is typically, what exactly the problem, guys? The problem using jQuery is the problems observed using jQuery. Guys, lot of people are unnecessarily opening the cameras, guys. Please don't distract the class. Okay, please make sure that you are on, don't switch on camera, don't play with any webex controls, guys. Okay, right. Now what is the problem we have seen with respect to jQuery? So jQuery typically event driven architecture. jQuery is a typically event driven architecture. What is the meaning of event driven architecture? The problem with jQuery is event driven architecture. That is typically a problem here. Okay, jQuery is a event driven architecture. So for this, I will show you an example, guys. I'm going to show you an example and I'll explain you what exactly event driven architecture, rather than telling theoretically, theory wise, rather than telling, I will write a code. Okay, I will write a code, guys, and I will show you the implementation, what exactly the event driven architecture. Okay, so just like I'm going to write a code here, guys. html, maybe I will save this file in the desktop. Okay, jQuery.html, I'm saving this jQuery.html. Okay, now HTML, I am writing some code, guys, here. After that, a head tag, right, sir? I'm writing a head tag. Event driven architecture using jQuery. event driven architecture using jQuery. This is my heading part. I mean, in heading, we need to write a title, right? Sorry. We need to write a title. So I will like this. Okay. So event driven using heading part as well as title part. Now I will write a body tag, guys. Let me write a body tag. I'll close a body tag. Sir, I hope everyone is able to see my font size clearly. Okay. Right. I'm going to write a name, sir. I'm take a control here, name. Input type is equal to text box. I will take a text box here. Okay. And the ID is txt ID. Just I'll take this control. Okay. Where I'll write a txt ID. This is an input control. After that, let me give two breaks here. So, hello, Mr. Hello, Mr. What I'll do here, I will write a span tag, okay, where ID is equal to MSG ID. Okay, I'm writing a span tag. Hello, Mr. I'm printing a span tag. I'm using, okay, a span tag. So a input type is equal to text box. I'm taking a text box here. And so what is my requirement is whatever I type in the text box, whatever I type in the text box, I should see immediately the span tag. Hello, for example, I'm typing Ashok IT. Hello, Mr. Ashok IT. Hello, welcome to session, or else hello, Mr. something like that. Okay, welcome to session. Something like that I will write here. Okay, or else I mean I don't want all these things, guys. Let me keep here as it is. Hello, Mr. Something like I want to write here. So for that we need to write some code, right, guys? For that we need to write some code, right? Whatever the value, the txt id, whatever the value which is captured in the text box, that should be in the msg id. Okay, so what I should write here, I need to write a script, front end script. Yes or no, guys? I need to write a scripting language, right? What that script should do, take the value from txt id and assigns the value to msg id. Okay, takes the value from txt id and assigns this value to msg id. That's it. And how to write that in here? In jQuery, whoever is having an idea of jQuery, everything we need to write a function, right? Dollar of function. Okay, this is a syntax, right? jQuery syntax. Dollar dot, I need to write a function. Inside that function, what I need to write here, how to get a control here, msg id I want here. How to get a control in jQuery, guys? Whoever is having a jQuery idea, they will have an idea, which is dollar of hash msg id, dollar of hash of msg id dot html, because it's a span tag, right? html. What I need to have this html, guys? What exactly I need to have inside that? Inside that, same, right? Dollar of hash of, instead of msg id, txt id. I want dollar of hash of txt id dot value. So what I'm writing here, guys, what exactly I'm writing here, you should have some idea, guys, on jQuery. Okay, I wrote a jQuery function. This jQuery function, what I'm doing here, please take this value, span tag value, whatever the value it is available in txt id, that I need to keep here. This is a function. Okay, and I also need to load this one, this guy, right? I need to load jQuery, right, guys? So script src is equal to, we need to know the jQuery URL, right, guys? Let me go here in the internet, Google. So jQuery CDN, how to download the jQuery CDN? The best website, W3 Schools. It's a very easy to access, downloading the jQuery. Or else I can use here. You are able to see that? I can access this, guys. Okay, what I'm going to do here, I'm taking this URL, script src https ajax.googleaps.ajax.libs.jquery.3.7.1 jquery.min.js. What exactly it is doing, sir? When this page is getting executed, it will download the jQuery library at runtime. It is going to download the jQuery library at runtime. And the jQuery library knows these definitions. What is dollar function? What is dollar hash of MSGID? What is dollar of TXTID? All those things. This entire function jQuery will be executed on load of the function, body load or whatever it may be, right? So this is a typical jQuery code, a sample jQuery code. Whatever the value I typed here, that value will be displayed over a simple requirement, guys. I don't have major requirements. Typically I don't have any major requirement, guys. You understood, right? Typically I don't have any major requirement, a small requirement we are going to have. Okay, just I'm taking the value of a text box and I'll keep here. Now we'll execute this guy. Okay, so this is where I saved this. You're able to see that, right, guys? Just let me. Okay, now this is my page, guys. This is my page. If you see here, Control Shift I. One second, guys. Okay. Actually, it should download. Yeah, now it's coming slowly. Now, if you see here in the network tab, sources, you saw here, jQuery file is downloaded here. You're able to see that, right, guys? ajax.googleaps.com. The jQuery file is downloaded here. This is a jQuery library. Okay. You're able to see that it's downloaded, right? Now, I am typing Ashok IT. But I am not getting the output, guys. I am only typing in the text box here. But this value is not coming to hello, Mr. Ashok IT. I'm not getting that. Why it is not coming? This is the problem of jQuery. This is the problem of jQuery. Sir, there is no problem in my code, sir. There is no problem in the code. I wrote perfectly. But it is event driven architecture, means you need to execute this code. At what time you need to execute this code? You need to tell to jQuery library, every jQuery function you write, every jQuery logic you write, that should be associated to an event. It should be associated to an event. What is an event, sir? Click is an event. Radio change is an event. Blur is an event. Key press is an event. Page load is an event. Like that. Definitely, user should do something. When he is doing something, I should tell jQuery, hey, when user is clicking, do this. When user is refreshing, do this. When user is doing, do this. Whatever the jQuery code I wrote here, that code will be executed when I keep an event and the event is performed. Then only this code will be executed. Okay. What I need to write here? This I need to keep an event. At what time I need to write here? What is an event for me? Whenever I enter something in the text box, whenever I enter something in the text box, that's an event for me, right, guys? Whenever I enter something in the text box, that's an event, right? Yes or no? Yes, that's a typical an event. Okay. Now what I need to write here inside the code, I need to call this function or I need to call this statement only when text. I need to write an event. Okay. So dollar of hash of txt id dot key up. Key up is a keystroke. Whenever any keystroke is entered, then again I need to write a function. Okay. Again I need to write a function. Okay. So what exactly I am writing here? On the text box, if I do a key up, if I do a key change or key press, whatever it may be, this is the event, guys, for me. This is the event. Okay. Typically, this is the event dollar of hash of txt id dot key up. This is an event for me. And on this event, I want to do this. On this event, I want to do this. Okay. Just I wrote this event here. Now we'll see the code, guys. Okay. Now we'll see the code, guys. A. You're able to see A came? Yes. H. O. Ashok IT. You're able to see that, right, guys? Whenever I do any change here, then automatically something like that, right? So this is the jQuery. What exactly I mean to say that here, guys? What exactly I mean to say that? jQuery is completely event-driven architecture. jQuery is completely event-driven architecture. The reason is typically, okay, for every page, main events are, okay, click event, change event, okay, click event, change event, load event. That's it. These are the main things. Whenever I click something, do this. Whenever I change something, do this. Whenever I load something, do this. So developer can write a code for these things, guys. Developer is going to write a code for these things, that's fine. Okay, developer is going to write a code for these things, that's fine. But small things, this is a small thing, right, guys? It's a very small thing, right, guys? What is a small thing here? I'm just typing some name and I want to display that. For example, if I have 300 controls in my page, I have a 300 controls. and I want to print all the 300 controls information. I want to collect the JSON. Just like an example, passport inquiry, passport entry. Everyone knows, right, guys? Passport, you want to apply a passport. There is a website, passport, a website, right? Where you need to fill lot of details, right? Your details, educational details, residential details, qualification, or else why passport? The best example is you are applying for a job. Naukri portal. That's the best example, right? When you are uploading your profile to Naukri, you need to write lot of details. Almost 1,000 text boxes will be there, right, guys? Okay. And finally, you want to collect all those things. Can I write each and every control key up, key up, key up like that? That's not correct, right? So what I mean to say that, sir, event is okay, but for small things also you want me an event? No. Framework should tell, framework should have idea, framework should understand this guy want this value. Maybe at the time of page load or anything, I can take this value. Why I need to write inside an event? It should not required. Framework has some kind of intelligence. Framework has some kind of intelligence. Correct, right? Nowadays, studies, right? Maths lecturer is going to explain a sum. Students will only do that sum if the same sum is given. If the maths lecturer is changing something in the sum, students will not do. If at all, sine square theta, cos square theta, sometime if I write like that only, students will follow a rhythm. In that rhythm only they will do that. That's why what I can say that in intermediate, all people are getting 950, 990, 980. MSET is 1 lakh rank because of just like I'm explaining here. So when we are writing something, we should have an intelligence. jQuery should have intelligence. It should not be associated with the event, guys. It should not be associated with the event. So what I mean to say that here, guys, typically what I mean to say that here, so jQuery is typically event driven architecture. For every page we have a main events, click event, change event, load event. These are main importance. But for small thing also, key up, key down, radio click, drop down change, these are the things that don't require here. Unless it is required, framework should have some intelligence to perform. So that's why if I write, if I for a big page, okay, a big page, guys, right? A big page. What I mean to say that a web page contains more than 300 controls. jQuery is not a best option. jQuery is not a best option because it's a event driven architecture and complete page will be loaded with heavy events and performance will impact and performance will impact. So initial problem is HTML, slowly client side framework under that JavaScript. What is the problem with JavaScript? I have a huge data, like 50 MB of data. I need to bind to a table tag, span tag, div tag. Then it is going to take some time. That's why jQuery is introduced. jQuery is solving the problem of loading the data on the UI. But the complete jQuery is an event-driven architecture. It's a completely event-driven architecture. We cannot load all the events. Everything is an event here. So immediately a new framework came up, guys. Okay, immediately a new framework came up, guys. So the new framework is typically, we call that as a Angular JS. Angular JS introduced to minimize the event driven format with jQuery. Event driven format, whatever the format is there, to minimize this, jQuery is introduced. jQuery is introduced. Now guys, we'll solve the same problem, guys. Same problem. We'll solve this. Okay. I will save as the same here. AngularJS .html. AngularJS .html. Okay. AngularJS .html. Same problem, sir. Now I will load AngularJS library, guys. Now jQuery I loaded, right? Okay. I loaded jQuery right here. Now let me go to AngularJS. Let me go to here. This is the latest AngularJS, guys. Okay. So I am replacing, guys. This is the thing here. So I want to replace the AngularJS, guys. Am I right, guys? Now, what is AngularJS is all about here? So I no need to write any event, for example. I don't want to write any event here. I don't want to write event. Angular came with some concept, body, ng app. So this entire body will be determined, will be evaluated, will be analyzed, whatever the word you can take. Analyzed, evaluated, determined, calculated. ng app, Angular only will take care of you. You no need to write any code here. Body, ng app, I want to tell. Now, sir, I want to keep this value, right? In some variable, I want to keep this. Okay. ng model is equal to, I'll take uname. What I'm telling, please keep this value to a variable. ng model, ng app. These are AngularJS keywords, guys. Okay. ng app as well as ng model, they are typically AngularJS keywords. Now, what I want to do here, I want to bind, right? Okay. ng bind, ng bind is equal to what value I need to assign here? I asked Angular framework to collect the value in uname and ng bind uname. Sir, I didn't write any event, sir. I have not created any event. I wrote only 3 keywords in my body tag. What is the first keyword here? ng app. ng app. Okay. What is the meaning of ng app? ng app stands for Angular application. ng app stands for Angular application. This entire body tag will be typically updated or typically populated, determined, evaluated by Angular itself. What is my logic? Hey, keep some value here and bind here. That's it. Take the value, bind here. ng model is to take a temporary variable, uname. ng bind is take that uname and bind here. That's it. I'm saving the file here, guys. Now, where is this Angular JS? This is a file I kept here. Okay. Maybe let me zoom this, guys. Yeah. Okay. Control Shift I. Now you see here Angular min.js came, right, guys? Angular min.js came here. You're able to see Angular min.js? Right. Now I'm typing Ashok IT. Yes or no, guys? Whenever I do a change, it is automatically taken care. So here I didn't write any event. Completely Angular is taking care of this. Angular JS, sorry, not Angular. Angular JS is typically taking care of this. Okay. With Angular JS, complete event driven architecture, Angular JS is introduced to minimize the event driven format with the jQuery. So what exactly we are going, sir? To minimize the event driven architecture. Minimize means not completely removing. Still, when a page is clicked, changed, load, many events are there, but not smaller events. Still, we are going to use Angular JS as a best framework, so that slowly what happened, guys? HTML to JavaScript came, JavaScript to jQuery came, jQuery to Angular JS came. So we have seen the limitations of each and every uh, uh, framework. Okay, I have given, there are a lot of things are there, guys, but I have given it a high level so that you people can understand the evolution of a web application. In olden days, what is going to happen, guys? Whenever I want to communicate something, in olden days, if I want to communicate my daddy some message, right? Now I'll go to somewhere else. I mean, I'll send some my person, or I'll go to my father village. I'll communicate. Slowly, what happens, guys? Letters came, right, guys? Slowly, letters came. So I can write a letter, and even I no need to go to my father's house. The letter will go to my father's house, and my father will reply to me. So it is saving my journey, right? Expenses will be saved, right? Yes or no, guys? Now slowly what happened? If a big thing is there, I want to discuss with my dad very big thing. I cannot write in a letter, right? I cannot write in a letter, right? Slowly what happens here? Phones came. Landline phones came. Correct, right? My father have a phone, I have a phone. I can discuss with hours and hours. Then slowly after phones came, what happens here? Emails came, right? If phone bill is very high, I can take email. And slowly mobile phones came, touch phones came, smartphones came, WhatsApp came. Now, so just like how the communication is media is getting changed, you will come to know, right, guys? In the similar way, a web application also initially with HTML slowly added the JavaScript, and the JavaScript is rendered to browser, and browser is going to execute the JavaScript file, then jQuery, after that AngularJS. So this is the third stage where AngularJS is introduced. Okay, I hope everyone got a high level context on AngularJS, guys. Okay, now we'll see the limitations of AngularJS, guys. Limitations of AngularJS. Again, Amazon is developed using AngularJS in 2005 time frame. Amazon is developed in 2005 time frame, that is e-commerce application that is developed using AngularJS only. The main problem with AngularJS is typically, okay, communication between pages. Developer need to write lot of code. Sir, I created some 10 pages or 20 pages, sir. I created some 10 pages or 20 pages, sir. Okay. So developer need to write lot of code in communicating those pages. Yesterday, one of the participants asked me this question. Sir, what are the limitations of Angular JS? I told that I am going to explain that, right? So, for example, sir, in Amazon, what are the pages, guys? Order page, product page, payment page, cart page. Right, sir? Do you see agree here, guys? Order page, product page, payment page, cart page. For example, in my cart, I have maybe discount page also I can add here. Discount page. In my cart, I have 10 products and the cart value is 9,500 rupees. Okay. I added 10 products in my cart. Cart value is 9,500 rupees, guys. Okay. I have a discount option, sir. If the cart value is more than 10,000, 20% instant discount. That is Amazon is introduced. If I have my cart value is more than 10,000, 20% I am going to get instant discount. That means if I add a new product with more than 500 rupees value, then I may get instant discounts, right? 20% of instant discount. Okay. A change in cart page. I need to go to cart, I need to add, right? A change in cart page should automatically trigger discount page, and change in discount page should automatically trigger payment page. Developer should see, sorry, not developer, sorry, customer should see on the fly. You'll see, right, guys, on the fly. Whenever I add a product, for example, 600 rupees product I added, total 10,100. Now automatically discount will be applied, 10,100 minus 20%. I can see that, right? To develop that behavior, developer should write lot of code. He need to observe the cart page, he need to observe the discount page, he need to observe, he need to communicate. Developer should communicate. That is called as a page communication. Also, data binding. HTML to business logic and business logic to HTML. Developer should write lot of boilerplate code. For small activity also, developer should write a small code here. So these are some of the limitations of Angular JS, guys, which is leading to a Ajax. That is, I'm going to explain for tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day for demo, guys. Okay, where I'll complete Ajax and I'll introduce Angular so that you will have a complete picture of end to end. Okay, so guys, from tomorrow onwards, guys, please join at the right time, sir. 7 o'clock means 7 o'clock, because immediately I have a next session, Spring Boot and microservices batch is there currently right now. Okay, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. immediately follow-up class is there, sir. So you need to join at the right time, and we are going to close the class at the right time. Okay, anyone is interested for Spring Boot and microservices batch, it's a demo classes. Today onwards the batch is demo is starting. You can join that particular session, guys. Okay, so any questions from anyone, guys? Just like 2-3 minutes I'll spend on questions, or else you can post the questions in the WhatsApp community also. Will respond to you on the questions. Anyone, any queries or any questions before I wrap for today? Okay, that's fine, guys. I hope everyone is good. We'll meet tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you all.